sat beside Roy as his dedicated son would bring him to the Little Brown Jug Society directors meeting because he insisted on being there. And I sat beside him. For one thing, this man had a sense of humor that you could die for, I'm telling you. But the knowledge this man had about the sport of harness racing is something that we will never ever recapture. And I always sat beside him, and I know why, is because he always had great insight. He was a very patient man, and what a tremendous turnout. I want to do this right, but Richard Davis, could you come up? And Doreen, and Pam, and Dennis, and Paul, and Kurt, and Keith, thank you for supporting the family. Thank you for supporting Richard. But I know these two wanted to say something. Appreciate it. But congratulations. Great legend.
There's a lot of things I could say, but I'll tell you, there was about a period of 3 or 4 years where a spur racing team totally dominated harness racing when it came to all the Adios and the Little Brown Jug and everything. And for those that don't know, Spurs was named after the soccer team in England, and a great tradition at the Meadows. And Roy Davis, was one hell of a guy. I remember when they won the Adios, it was probably the largest crowd in the winner's circle to see a local horse win the Adios, and then come over here a few weeks later and he wins the Little Brown Jug and such, and it was a great time. And I know Roy, everything that he got from harness racing, believe me, he put a lot into harness racing to get what he got. And he was a big backer, not just of his horses, but the entire harness racing game, Little Brown Jug Society, and all groups that he served on. And he was just one hell of a good guy.
Two things I had is that I was always amazed with Roy, regardless of his abilities to get around and stuff. He always dedicated himself to make sure he was at our Jug Society meeting every year. And how important it was to him and how important it is to us, that Jug Society. But he was such an educator for us, and one of the things I want to say is that Richard, he was there with him, helping him up the stairs every time, get him there, get him this, do that, making sure we've got everything ready for him. Richard, he just guarded him, and it was so nice. So thank you.
Gee, with that ado, Richard, thank you so much. Your father was a great man and a great lover of Delaware, and we're glad to honor him.